fantasy, caught in a landslide, no escape from reality.
Hey guys, what's going on? Underground Geek here. So I got another book to talk about. This was recommended to me by DMI, Second Prince. He has a website where he actually sells comic books at his comic book store, Second Prince. So if you would check him out, you know, he's got some pretty good prices and he's a really, really nice guy. I think he's based out of New York. But he recommended this book. And, you know, I'm quickly branching out to other books. And, you know, growing up, I was very much the superhero book kid. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, you know. That's what I liked. And then when I was getting a little bit older, I'd venture out and stuff like Witchblade and Union and random books like that, because when I was a kid, they had these dollar bins at Walmart. And you could go in these dollar bins and they had these comic books, random comic books that you could buy like 3 for $1. And they would be like one good one. And then they put 2 other regular ones behind it. And so that's how I got a lot of my books, my random weird, you know, not DC or Marvel books. It'd be like Image or Vertigo or something like that. And so long story short, most of those got stolen from me, so I don't have them anymore. But I had quickly started to venture out into other books here. And so he suggested this Velvet book. And I was like, Velvet? What is this about? And I told my wife about it, and she was like, what is that? Is that a porno? And I was like, well. But this book is, how should I put this? This is like a spy novel as a comic book. The closest thing that I can think of that it reminds me of is when I read that book, Spider-Man Family Business. You remember that book that I did a video on a while back? So let's get into this a little bit here. So we've got this book, Velvet. It's issue 1. It's a spy book, and it's pretty cool because there's some obvious, how should I put this? The characters in this book look like famous movie stars that I loved as a kid. And so it pulls more into the action movies of the 70s even more. And it's almost got a little bit of like some 007 in there with a little bit of Bullet and some of those movies. So it instantly caught my attention. And we get into it, and it's written by Ed Brubaker, and the art is by Steve Epting. And Elizabeth Brettweiser actually did the covers. I think it's a couple that are on Twitter that I just realized who they are, and they're very, very nice, the Brettweisers, and I think that's the guy's wife. I can't remember, but they're extremely nice on Twitter. I think his name's Brett or Nick. I can't remember. But this is Velvet by Image Comics. Now we start out, we're in Paris, 1973, and we're automatically sent from this nice, pretty angle of Paris to this gunfight. And it's not really a gunfight, it's more like a murder. And so this guy is just taking people out. He's going into an office, he's taking more people out. He's going down the street, and this person is talking the entire time that he's doing it. It says, a few years back I went out drinking with a few other ex-ops after one of Simonson's briefings. And as we drank, our jokes got darker and our stories grew more crass, and one thing became clear. We all had a secret thing with the director's secretary, and we all thought we were the only one. A group of highly trained spies and killers, and she'd played each of us with ease. And that's when I realized just how dangerous Velvet Templeton actually was. And so he walks to his car, which is an awesome, I believe that's an Aston Martin, and then somebody caps him with a shotgun at close range, dead. So with that, we cut to this other scene, or this big splash page here of Velvet Before the Living Dead. It's set up very much like a movie. I couldn't tell how old this main woman was for a while until they talk about it later on, and then you can kind of time frame her age but she's been around a little bit. And so she gets a phone call at 4 a.m. for her to come into the office, and she's already talking about the guy that they said died. She was, of course, fooling around with him. She's the Velvet Templeton that they're talking about, and she said that she keeps referring to him as the special one. You know, he was always the one that kind of made her laugh and things like that. And so she's heading into the office, and as this is getting started, I can't help but feel like this is like one of those classic spy noir movies that would normally be for a man, because you would have the dialogue of the man. You know, he got around with all the women. One of the women ended up dead. He sees her dead on the ground, and he's just like, oh, you know, Goldie used to be special. She was a girl going places, blah, blah, blah. And then he's trying to find the killer the whole time. But this is flipped on its head, because now you've got this woman talking about everything. And so she's in the briefing. They're talking about the murder, and they already think they know who it is. But so they're talking about, hey, whoever it is in on it. They know about us, blah, blah, blah. And then Velvet is very smart. She's got this. She's talking in the background or in her head as she's talking with the people there, and it's obvious that she knows a lot about behind the scenes. And so anyway, as we get more into this, she's continuing on her daily things, but she's also thinking about him at the same time. And now she's kind of mentioning what this group is. The ARC 7 agents are the best, she says. They're so good, most of the intel community has never even heard of us, or if they have, we're more like a legend. It says they started out as a Allied espionage group in World War II, and then continued on, you know, till now. So basically they're like MI6, or MI7, but even more secret. So now you've got this conversation going on between Velvet and another girl, and she's talking about how all the ladies are in the ladies' room crying about him right now. Says, yeah, he was a bit of a flirt, and says, yes, it is, Megan. It's only going to get worse. It's going to get very worse. And we have a picture there of this guy, and he looks so much like Steve McQueen, it's not even funny. But then we cut back to 1968, and this is where she first talked to the man that was killed, the agent that was killed. And then we get this cool chase scene here. She's smoking some weed with him, having a wild night out. The police start chasing him, and then he loses them. And you kind of get to see a little bit of the fun that she used to have with him. Now they're at the funeral. They're talking about that, and then we move on to investigating more about it. And I love this. They keep drawing all these characters that look like Steve McQueen. It's amazing. But so as she's going through these files, she's starting to figure out things for her own. This lady is very smart. Obviously, there's something else going on. And so right as she's starting to figure things out, they ask her to come into the meeting room, because they've found something out as well. They've seen this guy that was there about the same time, and they think that maybe it was him. He used to be an old agent of theirs, and you know, the one investigating is quick to call it's him. But the director and Velvet are talking because they both know of that old agent, and they know for a fact that he's probably not dirty, because she used to have a high school crush for him. And I want to like this girl. I like this character, but dang, she's a sleut, you know? I mean, she's just sleuting around everywhere. But so she's doing her hot yoga here, and she's talking about the facts and where they're starting to lead her about the guy. So she can't leave it alone. It's bugging her. It's killing her. It's a woman's intuition. A woman has to know. She's nosy. So what does she do? She walks out in the middle of the night and goes to the supposed killer's apartment, because she wants to talk it out with him. And then we cut back to a flashback from the past when she talked to him. She goes to his apartment, and he's dead. Stabbed to death, brutal death. And she knows immediately that it's a setup and that she's the one to be framed, because in bust the secret agents with Steve McQueen look-alike there, in the front of the group, and he's like, "Freeze, you traitorous bee!" And she's like, "Wait," and he goes, "You're out of your mind. This is crazy. You're just a secretary." And that's when she starts putting the hammer down on him. And as she's putting the hammer down on him, she's dodging bullets and all this kind of stuff. And that's when he notices something about her. He notices that she's wearing a stealth suit, which obviously means that she's more than meets the eye. And then she, of course, dodges out of the window. And we have this climax here to end it, where she's having to dodge their attacks. And that's what leads you into the next book. I mean, it's great. It's a fantastic book. I did not think I would like it at all, but it's so smart. And I think I'm on issue like 4, and it just keeps getting better and better, because you get to kind of find out more about this Velvet Templeton and why she is so involved in all this stuff, and why she's as good as she is. She's definitely not just a secretary at this point. But you got to check out this art. I mean, the art is fantastic. I love the Steve McQueen references. I love the Mustang race scene. I mean, obviously, this person is a fan of 70s action movies and 70s espionage movies like 007, like To Russia with Love, and things like that. And it's great, because you're getting to see this person's depth as far as this kind of stuff goes, because the detail of conversations that they're having really lets you know that Ed Brubaker knows a lot about espionage stories and things of that nature. You can't just go out and write this stuff. You have to really know what you're talking about. It's not like writing a superhero movie or a superhero book where you can just say, you know, this person has this powers, this is his motivation. No, you have to know about all these little ins and out files, all this offices, espionage, blah, blah. I mean, there's a lot to know. But I definitely give it up to them. It's a great series. Definitely check it out. But this is issue number 1. And as far as I know, I think there's about 15 issues, so you got some reading to do. But alright guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I hope you liked the video. And also I want to say a little shout out. I made 1,000 subs yesterday, so now I get to keep my monetization, so I appreciate you guys a lot. I'm thinking about what I want to do as appreciation, so I'm going to think that over and let you guys know. If I can find out who the 1,000th sub was, then I would definitely do something for them, but it's really hard to track that down, so I'll see what I can do. But I really appreciate you guys. You guys are there for me when a lot of people aren't, so obviously I'm doing something right. Alright guys, I'll talk to you later. Underground Geek out.